What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to use the Goodreads program. Whether you're new to Goodreads or if you've been using it for a while now, I'm going to show you some cool features and some things you might not have known about. Plus, I'll show you how to read thousands and thousands of free books right on Goodreads, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video. Okay, guys, here we are at the Goodreads homepage, and I'm assuming that you have created an account at this point. If you haven't, you need to do that. It just requires an email address. There are 4 tabs up here at the top that are of interest to us. We have the home page, which is where we are now, My Books, Browse, and Community. Goodreads is a social media site for readers, and if you've ever used any of the other social media sites, this should look pretty familiar. We have our news feed here, which is similar to Facebook, Twitter, and many other social media sites, and we can actually see what our friends are reading. We can leave a comment on their reading status, or they can leave a comment on ours. For example, I have a friend here named Leslie, the Nerdy Narrative, and I want to read Red Rising, which is what she wants to read. So I'm going to say here, I want to read this also. And I'll hit comment, and she will see that I also want to read a book that she wants to read. In the upper left-hand corner here, you can see what I am currently reading, and underneath that, you can see where I'm at with my 2021 reading challenge. We will take a look at both of these things when we go to the My Books tab in just a minute, and you can see here on the other side, guys, that Goodreads is offering up some recommendations for us here. Goodreads becomes familiar with your reading habits over time, and it offers recommendations that fit with what you would normally read by tracking your progress. So I find it can be fun to scroll through some of the recommendations, and I found many gems that way. And underneath here, guys, you can see the Goodreads Choice Awards link for 2020, which covers the books that won awards for last year. We will take a look at this in just a moment when we open the browser tab. Also, you can see at the top here that I have my messages button. You can send messages to other readers that are on your friends list. I also have the new friends requests button, my updates button, and you can see here in my updates that a few people are following my 2021 reading challenge, and some other people are following my reviews. And that's about it for the homepage, but I must say that I think that this is a lot of fun. Scrolling through and looking at what other people are reading, checking out their progress, it can be fun to interact with other people about books, which is a large part of what Goodreads is all about. Next, we will go on up to the My Books tab, which is my own personal favorite. On the left-hand side here, we have My Bookshelves. I have 3 shelves: read, currently reading, and want to read. I'll click on my read shelf and you'll see everything that I have read in the past. I am currently reading 7 books, which you can see here. I have a self-help book going called Jiu-Jitsu University. I'm reading the novel The Nightingale, the biography Leonardo da Vinci by Walter Isaacson, and I'm reading a couple books on Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. And we'll take a look at my want to read shelf, or my to be read pile. This has all the books that I want to read, and anytime that I'm not sure what I want to read, I can come here, or say I'm going to the bookstore or an online site to buy a book and I'm not sure what to get. I can come here and it reminds me about what I've logged in the past concerning what I want to read. So this is a really valuable tool, and I get a kick out of keeping track of everything with my bookshelves. And all I have to do in order to add a book to my bookshelves is search for one. Let's say Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I'll pull this one up, and you can see underneath the book, it actually gives me the option to click read. If I had read the book, I could add it to my read pile. If I'm currently reading it, I can add it to my currently reading. Or if I want to read, I can simply click want to read, and there it is in my want to read pile. Now I'll go back to my books and I'll show you that Pet Sematary is in my want to read pile now. Also, guys, check out my reading stats. You can see that I started Goodreads in 2018 and that I read 30 books that year. The next year, in 2019, I read 40. Last year, I read 50. So guys, how many books do you think I'm going for this year? You guessed it, I'm going for 60 this year. I think it's awesome to be able to track your progress in this way. Speaking of my reading challenge, let's go back and take a look at that. You can see here, there is a spot where you can click on Reading Challenge. Here it is, and you can see that I plan on reading 60 books this year, and I have only completed 5 so far. I really need to get moving on this thing or I won't make it. However, I did read one 1,310-page book this year, Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, which you can see here. And this one slowed me down a bit because of how long it is. You know, I really like the reading challenge. I think it's a lot of fun for me to challenge myself with my hobby of reading. 2 more things I want to show you in the My Books section before we move on. If you use Amazon, you can link your Amazon account with Goodreads, and every time you buy a book on Amazon, it will show up here in your Amazon book purchases. I don't use this, but I know a lot of people do, so I just wanted to mention it. Also, if you want to keep track of all the books that you own in your own personal library, you can do it right here with this tool called Owned Books. I don't use this feature, which you can see, but I know a lot of people that do, and it helps them to keep track of their purchases and what they have in their own personal libraries at home, and many people find this quite valuable. Next, we will go on up to the Browse tab. We have recommendations, the Choice Awards, giveaways, new releases, lists, explore, news and interviews, and we also have a list of my favorite genres here. I'll click on recommendations and you'll see that Goodreads has a ton of recommendations for me based on what it knows about the books that I would normally read and the books that I have shelved in my bookshelves. I have found a ton of good books this way. Also, if you look here on the right, you can see that you can actually select different genres and it will give you book recommendations in any particular genre based on your books that you've read in the past. Next thing we'll take a look at here is the Choice Awards. Throughout the year, you can vote on various books that you enjoy, and at the end of the year, Goodreads gives awards to the most popular ones. Everyone on the whole site can vote, and you can check this out if you're looking for something to read, or maybe just out of curiosity. The Midnight Library won for fiction, the Guest List won for best mystery and thriller, and so on and so forth. If you scroll down here, you can check out the list for previous years as well. Some of this stuff is pretty much self-explanatory in the Browse tab. On the right-hand side, we have my favorite genres, and I can search for books to read that are in any particular genre simply by clicking on a genre here on the right-hand side. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys in the Browse tab is the giveaways. So here we are at the giveaways page, and I'll tell you what, guys, I know a woman who enters these things all the time, and I have no doubt that she gets 30 or 40 hardbacks and paperbacks every year. She's always entering and always winning. If you are consistent with entering these giveaways, you will win. I'll enter one here just to show you guys how this thing works. I'll just enter this one here, and you can see that this is a print book, and there are also many of these that are for the Amazon Kindle. They'll just send you an ebook. I personally like trying to enter for the print books because I don't currently have an e-reader, but I'll pick one here. Let's go with this one. Vera is the name of this one. And what you'll do here is you'll put your address in, and then you'll click here on I have read and agreed to the terms and services, and you hit enter giveaway, and that is it, my friends. I am entered to win this book. So this is one of the best things about Goodreads for people who like getting free books, and I guarantee you guys that you will win and win consistently if you keep on entering these things. And there are a ton of books here, including bestsellers. You can actually win these things on books that are not out yet. Sometimes Goodreads will give books a couple of months. They'll give them away a couple of months before the thing actually becomes available to the public. So I think that this is really neat. And I will tell you, if you're trying to do this from your phone, it will not work. If you're trying to do it from the app on your phone, rather, it will not work. You have to open the browser up on your phones to get this to work, guys. You've got to go to the website, or you can simply do it from a computer. Now, this is not what I meant at the beginning when I said that you can read thousands of free ebooks on Goodreads. We will come to that in just a moment, but first, let's quickly check out the final tab here, the Community tab. There are two things that I want to show you in the Community tab, and the first one is groups. There are a ton of groups on Goodreads, and you can see here that I am in 4 of them. What they are is a message board format, and there are so many groups here that you can almost certainly find one that fits your tastes. I don't use them a whole lot because I use Facebook for engaging with readers, but what you'll see here is that when I go into my group, there are just a lot of different themes that people are working in, talking about so many different things. It really is almost unlimited concerning what you can get into here with the groups. You'll just have to check some of this stuff out. The last thing in the Community tab that I want to show you is creative writing. People from all over the place write essays and stories and whole novels that you can check out, which is neat. And this is not what I meant when I said that I'll show you how to read free ebooks, and we're coming to that in just a moment. But I'll click on the first one up here, which is called Abuse, and you will find all kinds of writings with abuse as a theme. Also, there are some other things in the Community tab, Ask the Author and some other stuff, and you can take the time, guys, to check that out at your leisure, and all of this stuff is pretty straightforward. And finally, the last thing I want to cover with you all is how to read free books on Goodreads. There are a load of these things. There are 2 ways to go about it. The first is to enter the website that I have displayed on the screen for you. It will take you to this page, and you can see that this is a page with free books. There are a lot of these things, and you can see here with Wuthering Heights that I can actually read the book on the website. I don't actually have to download this, and you can do this with your phone, you can do it with a tablet, you can do it with a computer, and here is chapter 1. All of chapter 1 is there, and then I go on to chapter 2. So this is pretty cool that you can actually read them right on the site. Let me get back to where I was with that list. Here we are. And you can see that some of these are a downloadable ebook. Some of them you can actually read the book on the site. And some of them are just excerpts of a book. Perhaps you're planning on maybe buying a book and you're not sure. Maybe you want to buy Crossfire, but you're not quite sure. You can read an excerpt of the book. Here's actually one that I've wanted to read for a long time. Flatland, A Romance of Many Dimensions, which is a kind of classic science fiction book. Here's the downloadable ebook, and I'll download this real quick, guys, just to show you what's going on. You can choose the format that you want. I'll just take this one here, and you can see that I now have it on my computer right here. So that is pretty neat. And I'm going to go back here to that list again. And when I scroll down at the bottom here, you can see that there is list after list after list after list of these things. So you guys will just have to take some time and go through this and see if there's anything to your liking. And the other way to do it is simply by searching for a book. Let's go with A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens. Whoops, A Christmas Carol. There we are, by Charles Dickens. Now you'll see that this takes me to the page for A Christmas Carol. And if you look here, it actually gives me the opportunity to read the book. It says it right here below. You can see that I've actually read A Christmas Carol in the past. I'll click on Read Book, and here it is, the entire book, chapter by chapter. Let's go to chapter 1 here. Chapter 1, Marley's Ghost. Chapter 2, The First of the Three Spirits, and so on and so forth. The entire book will be there. Nearly every classic is on here. If a book is old enough to be in the public domain, it is highly likely that Goodreads will have it for free. So you'll have to look around. Let's also check The Count of Monte Cristo here, just out of curiosity. Let's see if The Count is on here. Oops, the C-O-U-N-T. I'm having trouble spelling today. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. You can see that here is the book, and indeed, it's going to allow me to read the book right here on the website. Now, it is worth noting, friends, that this option will not work from your phone, whether you're using the app or the browser. So if you want to download a free ebook onto your device, or you want to read on the website using this method where we're looking a book up just to see if there's an option beneath the book to read it, you will need to do it from a computer. And there you have it, guys. That is how to use Goodreads. Please like this video if you found it to be helpful. Liking the video actually helps us to get it to more people, and you can subscribe to this channel for more literary tips and tricks. The channel is all about reading. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.